You walk into the kitchen and stare blankly at the refrigerator, completely forgetting why you went in there. Your feet tingle when you lay in bed at night. You drag yourself through the afternoon feeling a deep, heavy exhaustion that no amount of sleep seems to fix. Your family notices you repeating stories, and deep down, a terrifying thought starts creeping into your mind. Is this the beginning of dementia? What if I told you to stop panicking? What if I told you that for millions of adults over the age of 60, these terrifying symptoms are not Alzheimer's? They are not inevitable signs of aging, and they are not permanent. Instead, your brain and your nerves are simply starving, completely depleted of one single critically misunderstood vitamin. Stay with me for the next 15 minutes because today I am going to reveal the one vital nutrient that most people completely overlook after age 60. I'm going to show you how common daily habits and prescription pills are actively draining it from your body and exactly how you can restore it to get your memory, your energy, and your balance back. I'm Dr. Martin, and in my decades of treating adults over 60, I have seen thousands of seniors misdiagnosed with depression, chronic fatigue syndrome, neuropathy, and even early stage dementia, when the real culprit was a silent, massive vitamin deficiency that standard blood tests often miss. Before we dive in, I want you to do something for me. Drop a comment below with your age and where you're watching from today. Tell me, do you struggle with unexplained fatigue, memory blips, or tingling in your hands and feet? Have you ever been secretly worried about your cognitive health? Write your answer below. I read every single comment, and raising awareness is the first step to healing. And while you're there, hit that subscribe button because I share life-saving medical truths like this every single week. Let me tell you about a patient of mine named Richard. Richard was 68 years old and he was absolutely terrified. His daughter brought him into my office because over the past year, his balance had become terribly unsteady. He was constantly exhausted, and worst of all, his memory was slipping. He couldn't remember the names of his favorite actors, and he was getting confused, driving his normal routes. His previous doctor told him to get his affairs in order because it looked like early cognitive decline. But when I looked at his chart, I noticed something else. Richard had been taking a popular acid-blocking medication for heartburn for 10 years, and he was on a standard medication for his blood sugar. I ran a specific set of tests, and the results were shocking. Richard didn't have dementia. His brain was literally suffocating because his body was entirely depleted of vitamin B12. We put him on a specific, highly absorbable protocol of B12. Within 4 weeks, the tingling in his feet vanished. Within 2 months, his brain fog lifted. His daughter called me crying, saying, "Dr. Martin, I have my dad back." Richard's story is not rare. It is an epidemic. So why is vitamin B12 so incredibly crucial? And why do so many seniors suddenly become deficient after age 60? To understand this, you need to understand what B12 actually does. Vitamin B12 is the architect of your nervous system. It is responsible for maintaining the myelin sheath, the protective coating that wraps around your nerves. Imagine your nerves as electrical wires. B12 is the rubber insulation. When B12 drops, that insulation frays. The wires short circuit. That is why you feel burning, tingling, or numbness in your feet and hands. Furthermore, B12 is required to make red blood cells, which carry oxygen to your brain. Without it, your brain cells literally suffocate. That's the heavy brain fog, the forgotten names, and the crushing fatigue. But Dr. Martin, you might say, I eat meat, I eat eggs, I take a standard multivitamin. How could I be deficient? Here is the medical reality that the system rarely explains. The problem after age 60 is almost never your diet. It is your absorption. To absorb vitamin B12 from food, your stomach must produce a highly acidic environment and a special protein called intrinsic factor. But as we age, our stomach acid naturally declines. By age 60, over 30% of adults can no longer extract B12 from their food. You could eat a massive steak every single day, and the B12 would pass right through you, completely unabsorbed. But it gets worse. There are massive modern roadblocks standing between you and this vitamin. Here are the 3 hidden culprits destroying your B12 levels right now. Culprit number 1, Acid-blocking medications, PPIs. If you take omeprazole, pantoprazole, Nexium, or even over-the-counter antacids regularly, you are actively neutralizing your stomach acid. Without stomach acid, your B12 absorption drops to near zero. Millions of seniors take these pills daily for years, completely unaware that they are slowly starving their brain of its most critical nutrient. Culprit number 2, common diabetes medications. If you take metformin for prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, you must be incredibly careful. Studies clearly show that long-term metformin use actively blocks the absorption of vitamin B12 in the intestines. If you are on this medication, you must monitor your B12 levels, or you risk developing irreversible diabetic neuropathy, nerve damage that could have been entirely prevented. Culprit number 3, the normal range illusion on blood tests. This is the most frustrating part of my job. You might go to your doctor, they run a standard B12 blood test, and it comes back at 300 pg/ml. Your doctor looks at the chart and says, "You're in the normal range, you're fine." But in countries like Japan and many parts of Europe, a level of 300 is considered a severe deficiency. At that level, neurological damage is already occurring. In my practice, I don't want my patients in the normal range. I want them in the optimal range, ideally between 600 and 900 pg/ml, because your brain deserves to thrive, not just barely survive. If you're finding this information eye-opening, please go ahead and hit that like button right now. It tells the algorithm that this is important, and it helps us reach other seniors who are being actively harmed by ignored vitamin deficiencies. So how do we fix this? How do you restore your levels, wake up your brain, and heal your nerves? You can't just run to the pharmacy and buy the cheapest B12 on the shelf. In fact, most cheap B12 supplements are practically useless. Here is my 3-step protocol for correcting B12 deficiency after 60. Step 1, check your medications, but do not stop them blindly. If you are on acid blockers or metformin, talk to your doctor. Do not stop them on your own. Instead, ask them specifically to check your B12 and homocysteine levels. Homocysteine is an inflammatory marker in the blood that spikes dangerously high when your B12 is low. Step 2, stop relying solely on digestion. Because your stomach acid is weak, swallowing a standard B12 pill won't work. The acid will destroy it, or your lack of intrinsic factor will prevent absorption. You need to bypass the digestive tract entirely. This means using sublingual drops under the tongue or specialized highly bioavailable capsules that absorb directly into the bloodstream. Step 3, you must take the right form of B12. This is the single biggest mistake people make. 90% of the B12 supplements in the grocery store are made of something called cyanocobalamin. Look at your vitamin bottle right now. Cyanocobalamin is a cheap synthetic form of B12 bound to a cyanide molecule. Your body has to work incredibly hard to convert it into a usable form. And as we get older, our liver loses the ability to make this conversion efficiently. Instead, you absolutely must look for methylcobalamin. Methylcobalamin is the natural active form of B12. It is already broken down and ready for your brain and nerves to use the very second it enters your bloodstream. If you make these changes, the results can feel miraculous. Within weeks, patients often tell me it feels like a heavy curtain has been lifted off their brain. Their energy comes back, the annoying tingling in their toes quiets down, their balance steadies. Nothing magical happened. We just stopped starving their nervous system. Now, I want to be completely transparent with you. If you have been deficient in B12 for years, you need more than just a standard grocery store vitamin to repair the damage. Your nerves and brain pathways need a concentrated, highly absorbable intervention. That is why, for my patients over 60 who are serious about protecting their memory, stopping nerve pain, and getting their natural energy back, I highly recommend the Advanced Neurological B-Complex formula. This isn't your standard drugstore multivitamin. This specific formula uses purely active methylcobalamin, bypassing the need for strong stomach acid. But it doesn't stop there. It combines it with active folate, vitamin B9, and vitamin B6. because these three vitamins work together like a team to rebuild the myelin sheath around your nerves and lower the inflammatory homocysteine in your blood. When you give your body the exact active ingredients it needs without the cheap synthetic fillers, your brain wakes up, your nerves heal, you regain the energy you thought you had lost to aging. You can find the direct link to the advanced neurological B complex formula in the pinned comment and the description below this video. Don't wait until the memory blips turn into a serious diagnosis. Don't wait until the tingling in your feet causes you to fall. Give your nervous system the exact fuel it is begging for today. Your health is not a mystery, and your decline is not inevitable. So much of what we call aging is simply our body crying out for the right nutrients. You have the power to take control of your mind and your mobility starting right now. Before you go, let me know in the comments, are you going to check your vitamin bottles today to see if you have the cheap synthetic stuff or the real active methylcobalamin? Your commitment to changing your health might just inspire the next person reading the comments. If this video helped you understand what is really going on inside your body, please share it with a friend, a spouse, or a loved one who might be suffering in silence, thinking they are just getting old. Hit that subscribe button, take control of your health, and I will see you in the next video. Stay sharp, stay strong.